Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's episode 4 of On the Mic with Michael Flix. Very happy to be back. Don't have much to talk about in this first segment. Actually, this first segment is going to be shorter than usual because I have a very, very special guest. He's a friend of mine. I can't say a close personal friend, but he has been a friend of mine for a very long time. And I'm very excited to talk to him today. Lorenzo Keeler is going to be here in the studio. He'll be here at any moment. I'm sure he's going to hit my phone, and I'll have to ask Mr. Wade to go and grab him. He'll be here any moment. And I'm really excited to talk to him, man. I got a lot to talk to him about. But first, before we get to that, only real sports updates, that I have for you guys is what's been going on at the Swish Pro-Am. So the Swish Pro-Am, they've played 4 or 5 games now. I'm not sure. I should have had the schedule up in front of me. But there's a few different, there's 5 or 6 different teams. The team that's in the lead right now, I'm sure if you've been following me on social media, or if you follow the Swish or any player in San Diego that plays in the Swish, you've been seeing and loosely keeping up with it. But there's a team in red called the Reapers. If I'm not mistaken, they're still undefeated. They haven't lost a game yet. They had for the first time on Thursday. Again, the Swish plays Tuesday and Thursday starting at 4, and then on Saturday starting at 12:30. Last Thursday, the Reapers, the red team, they had Evan and Isaiah Mobley. They've been on the roster. They've been listed on the roster, but they finally made their appearance on Thursday. And, man, they played well. Evan caught a few bodies, one off a putback, one I think was off a lob. Oh, man, he played super well. He and his brother played well. So, like I said, the Reapers are undefeated. What is actually a new ABA team here in town, the Chula Vista Suns, they have a team in the Swish Pro-Am. They're in the orange uniforms. Their team in the Swish Pro-Am is called Team Infinity. And they've been playing super well. The bully, Big Marcus Bell, who used to play for the San Diego Kings, he actually left the Kings team. I don't know, what's going on with the ABA. I haven't asked no questions. I'm not getting into it. But as far as like the Swish teams, he left the Kings, and now he's playing for the Chula Vista Suns team for the Infinity. And so did Davion. I forget my man's last name. But they both left the Kings team, and they now play for the Chula Vista Suns team in the ABA. And it's actually funny. So they left the King. They played with the Kings on Tuesday night, lost, and then left the team and went to the Chula Vista Suns. And then the very next game, the Chula Vista Suns ended up playing against each other. So these guys left the Kings and then played them the very next game, and actually the Chula Vista Suns got the win. Shout out to my man Ryan Carter, a.k.a. the Hezzy guy. He's been putting on quite the show at the Swish Pro-Am. Right now, he looking like MVP, man. It's got to be somebody on the Reapers because they're playing the best. They're undefeated. And so whoever's, I would assume whoever's been leading their team most of the way. And I can't think of it right now. But the Reapers all around been playing well. If I had to pick an MVP, and not just because I've been making all his videos, but if I had to give an MVP right now, it'll go to Ryan Carter, man. It'll go to Ryan Carter. He playing the best. His team is still winning. I think they only have 1 loss. Yeah, they're 3-1. The Reapers are 3-0, and there's another team that's 3-1. But like I said, the team that's playing the best and that hasn't lost probably has the MVP on their team. I just can't think. But they play such a balanced game, you know what I mean? The Reapers do. They play such a balanced game that nobody really shines out and really stands out like that. Mount Soledad, they took a loss to BWA on Thursday. Mount Soledad has Matt Mitchell, who I interviewed here. They got my man Aaron Felix, who plays for the Guardians. Who else? Justin Moore, who used to play for Georgia Tech, now plays for University of Pacific. So Mount Soledad, I like them a lot. Right now, if I had to pick a favorite to win it, I'm gonna have to go with the Reapers just because they have the best team and the most overall balance. But like I said, man, Mount Soledad and Infinity are both looking real good right now. I haven't heard back. It's funny. I haven't heard back. Switching subjects real quick. Last week I brought up the San Diego Tridents, a football team, a women's professional football team here in San Diego. I sent them a DM and told them that I would love to speak to anybody from the organization, and they didn't get back to me. And then so a few days later, they posted something. And so what I usually do, I'm that annoying person. Like I was telling Yasin when he was here, I can be kind of annoying, and then after I feel like, all right, I'm doing too much, then I'll fall back. But so I sent the DM, and nobody got back to me. And then when I seen they posted something, I just left a comment on the post that said, check DM. And they liked the comment, but still never checked the DM and got back to me. So whenever somebody from the San Diego Tridents reach out to me, or gets back to me rather, I'm gonna talk to whoever I got to talk to and get an interview set up because I'm still very, 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 very interested in that. There's a few other things I wanted to talk about. Real quick, I'll do a quick PSA, actually. I got a little bit more time to kill. I'll do a quick PSA. I love my job. I love being a cameraman. I love every second of it, obviously, because I love sports. And then, this newfound passion that I'm rocking with now, I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I do it for the love, and I do it to help, not that, I only got, 2,000 and something followers on Instagram. So it's not that I have this huge platform that I can help promote, and I post your video, and now it's finna go viral. That doesn't happen on my page. But I do try to promote people and try to provide a platform for people. That being said, it is work for me, being a cameraman. It is work for me. So if you, and I feel like I've said this before in a roundabout way, but if you're asking me for a video, you have to pay. Not that there's been anybody reaching out saying that they want something necessarily for free, but a few questions in that area that I didn't really take disrespectful. I just take it as you don't quite understand what it is that I do and what goes into what I do. So with all due respect, if you're asking me for a video, you are going to have to pay for it. That's just, it is my job. It is what I do for work. I do have a family, 2 kids and a wife that I do have to take care of. There ain't going to be no free videos. If you want a video from me, you do have to pay for it. And this, maybe I shouldn't say this on camera. My wife would probably be mad at me. But if you don't have the whole thing, I'm a nice guy and I'm an understanding guy. Talk to me. Maybe capital M, capital A, capital Y, capital B, capital E. Maybe we could work something out. But I'm a nice guy. So just hit me up and let me know, man. Another thing. People have been asking me, I'm not gonna go live at the Swish Pro-Am. I can't do it. Just, only maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 people have asked me to do it. So it ain't been a lot of people. It ain't like it's this huge demand. Let me not make it like that. But I'm not going live on my Instagram at the Swish Pro-Am. I'm too busy. I'm trying to shoot video, and I'm trying to take pictures when I can. I be moving around different spots, trying to get different angles. I'm not gonna go live at the Swish Pro-Am. I don't have, the Michael Flix network is a one-man show. I don't have a staff of people that I could bring out to the game with me, say, hey, hold my phone and record and go live. This is obvious. It ain't like I do a whole bunch, but what I do, it is just me. My brother's here helping me with the cameras today and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I do have help, but what I'm saying, when I'm at the game, it's just me. So I can't go live. Just go to SanDiegoSwish.net, and they stream the game, all the games live, and then also San Diego Swish on Facebook. They stream the games live. Also, my man, if I'm not mistaken, my man Abe Mohazy from the Kings, he's running the Instagram and the story, and I think the live too, the Facebook live too at the Swish Pro-Am. And if you follow the Kings, if you ever paid attention to the Kings on social media, they're real heavy on social media, games and practices. Pardon me, social events, city events, wherever they're at, it's plenty of coverage, man. So and like I said, and he's the one that's doing everything for the Swish right now. So follow them, and you'll get everything you need from the Swish, man. I don't have, like I said. Oh, another thing, I'm not gonna be doing the player of the week, the player of the game, and all that. I tried it. It was just too much for me to keep up with. I'm not doing that. So I'm gonna just come in here and give y'all updates of what happened at the Swish and tell y'all who I like from the past week. But as far as every game, I'm not doing that. I don't, like I said, man, I don't have too much else to talk about, man. We're gonna take a quick break right here. I'm gonna run downstairs and I'm gonna get Lorenzo, and then we're gonna be in here talking with Lorenzo about, high school, college, pro, being an author and everything that comes with it, man. Be right back on the mic with Michael Flix.
Sorry, I'm late, bro.
It's all good, bro.
We live?
Nah, we good. We live.
Oh,
We live.
All right.
The wait is over. It's all right. I've been talking to the people while you was outside. It's all good.
Yes, sir.
The wait
Yes,
is
sir.
over, man. My bro is here. He's here, man. This is one I've been waiting on for a long time. Like I said, when we reconnected recently, I was talking to my brother, and I wanted to have you on my podcast.
Okay.
And we still might do that. But now that I got the sports show,
Okay.
I was like, I gotta have my man here.
You already know, man. Long time coming.
It's been a long
Thank you
time
for having
coming.
me.
Absolutely. My pleasure, man. How you been doing?
I've been good, bro. Just grinding, man. Trying to stay as busy as we can during this COVID. But
I feel
just
it,
trying to
man.
grind, man.
I
Trying to
feel
stay
it,
busy.
man. I heard that.
Yeah.
Especially, not everybody got kids. come closer to the mic. Yeah, especially, I mean, not everybody got kids, but guys like us with kids, you got to play it. You got to play it extra safe. You got to play it extra safe.
They don't understand COVID.
They don't.
They just be like, yo, why can't we go? Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that?
And see, that's the thing. Like, me and my brother be going to the park working out, and I be bringing my son out there, and he see the playground, and he like, I'm trying to play, and I'll be like, we can't play. And he don't even understand. Exactly. Caution tape. Caution tape. So, like I said, man, I was telling the people before you got in here, man, we gonna talk about everything, man, from start to finish, from you know, everything that started with you up till right now, man, till right now. So everybody knows you. What's up, Mr. Way? Everybody knows you as a big time basketball player.
Yes, sir.
And rightfully so.
Yes,
and
sir.
rightfully so.
Yes, sir.
So, how old are you now?
34.
You're 34 now.
34.
Okay. I don't know, for whatever reason, I talk about this all the time. Probably because when we were younger and you were always like doing big things, it seemed like you were like so much older than me. But I'm 31, so it ain't that.
Right behind me,
yeah,
bro.
it ain't that big a gap. I mean, we were in high school at the same time too,
yeah.
so it ain't, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, how you were a big time basketball star in high school.
Sir.
When did you start playing basketball?
Man, probably, I want to say third grade. Third grade, man. Coach Chris Williams, my teammate in high school, his dad took me under his travel team. So, put the ball in my hands right then and there, bro, and I just took off with it.
That's what's up.
About third, fourth grade.
Were you already like as soon as you touched the court? Were you a star right away, or was it kind of you had to work into it, or how
Bro,
was it?
my dad said I was always a shooter. He said when I was a little boy, I'd get that little Nerf ball, and he said I used to just knock him down. So it was already in me, man. My dad played college ball.
Okay. I never knew that.
Yeah,
I never knew
he played
that.
at Alliant right here. It was
Okay.
USIU back in the day,
Okay.
and now it's Alliant University.
I mean, he a big dude. I remember when he said I used to see him
6'6".
coming into church. He
Yeah,
a big
big
dude.
dude,
So
yeah.
I probably should have assumed, but I never knew he hooped though.
Yeah, hoop, man.
Never knew he hooped though.
Yeah.
What was I about to say? But no, so you started playing in third grade.
Yes,
You started
sir.
playing. You say your dad played here in town.
Yep, he played right down the road.
Did he play high school ball here too?
He didn't play. He didn't play no high school ball. That's
wow.
the thing. He was in Kansas. Went to an open gym. The coach happened to be up there and took him on. Like, give you a scholarship. Come on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
And so that first team you played on, what was it like? Boys and Girls Club, rec league, like.
it was like a little travel team. We were called Over the Top.
Okay.
So we just traveled to Fullerton, LA. You know, different spots. We went to Ohio one time, but it was all local, mostly California.
And at that time, was it like your age group, or were you playing up, or what was it?
It was like my age group.
Okay.
Yeah, it was my age group.
Okay.
But I've been playing up, man, all my life because my brothers, my older brothers.
That's exactly
you know?
why I asked.
That's how I patterned my game. Playing against bigger dudes ever since I was little. So
And see, by the time I met you, I believe I was in. So we met at church. A lot of people don't know that. Me and Lorenzo go way back.
Bro.
Met
Way
at
back.
church.
Years
met
back.
at church. I think I was in 6th grade, and you 2 grades ahead of me, so you were in 8th grade then.
Yep.
You were in 8th grade.
Yep.
And your brothers were already in high school,
Yep.
doing
Yep.
it big, doing
Yep.
it big.
Yep.
And then, before I get to high school though, you my boy, and I've always felt like it was like a weird question to just randomly bring up. But I've heard this from people that you went to middle school with, and I've been dying to know if it's really true. In middle school in 8th grade, it's fine, just leave it. In middle school in 8th grade, were people paying you for their autograph in the yearbook?
in 8th grade, honestly, bro, I don't remember.
I feel it.
I can't call it, to be honest with you. I can't remember.
I promise you, I heard that. I'm not just making that up.
Yeah,
I heard that when I was in high school.
Okay.
And I've always wanted to ask.
Okay.
I'm like, that's the weirdest question to just randomly
yeah.
bring up. You know what I mean? So I was like, I ain't sure.
Yeah, I can't recall, bro. Maybe not. Honestly, I can't recall that.
And so you were, like I said, by the time I met you, you were in 8th grade, and I had already heard about you as a basketball player. So it was before high school.
Okay.
Before high school, and then so you get to high school, you went to Escondido High School, and your brothers were already there. And I remember seeing in the paper, seeing that big like article about you guys in the paper, and the big picture front page. I don't know if it was the San Diego Times or North County Times.
North County Times.
North County Times with the
Yeah,
picture
yeah.
of you and your brothers
Yep.
all playing varsity at the
Yep.
same. That's super
Yes,
dope.
sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
super dope.
That was.
And see, for me, I mean, you know Steph, obviously.
Yeah, yeah,
You know my little brother and my whole family, really.
Yes, sir.
But Steph, I don't know if you know, but Steph did 7th grade twice.
Okay.
And then so for me, 7th grade all the way through high school, we were always in the same grade. But because he was always like better than me at basketball, I mean, I was better than him at football, but I was always super small, so I didn't really cut it. But basketball, like I never really got the chance to, because I wasn't as good as him, to be varsity with him until senior year.
Okay.
And then even when I was varsity, I wasn't like a dominant player like you and your brothers were.
Okay.
So like seeing that, it was like, man, that's dope. And I remember thinking like, me and my brother go do that one day. Even never really worked out that way, but I was like, man, me and my brother gonna do that one day.
Yeah.
And so when you got to high school, were you, like I said, your brothers were already there. Were you the shooter right away? Or like, did you start out point guard, or were you the gunner? What was it?
I could just score, bro. From as long as I can remember, I was just a scorer. Whether that was a point guard, 2 guard, to me it was the same thing. I could run the ball up and I could score. So I was a scorer, bro, for my whole life. You know, even playing varsity my freshman year. And we actually played at Sample Squall. A lot of people don't know that. My first year was at Sample Squall. Yeah, me and my brother Julius played at Sample Squall. My brother Gerald was at Esco.
Okay.
We played that year, bro. That year was dope. And then we all came together my sophomore year.
Why did you guys go to Sample Squall?
Honestly, my brother Julius didn't like the block schedule. In Escondido, you got like 2-hour classes. You know what I mean? Sample Squall was like a class every hour. So he preferred that. So my mom was like, we'll give it a shot. So did it for a year. But then we was like, bro, we want to play together. You know what I mean? My brother Joe was already a senior. He's like, bro, I'm not coming over to Sample Squall. I'm a cougar, bro.
Right.
So we did it a year, bro. Worked out, and then we came back to Esco.
That's dope. And didn't and I know I see people the Smith family. I know I see people. Didn't Marty go to Sample Squall?
Marty was at Bishop's.
Oh, no,
Marty
that's
went
right.
to Bishop's.
That's right.
Marty
That's
went to
right.
Bishop's. His
That's right.
brother Phil, Big Phil, Lil Phil, went to Sample Squall.
Okay, I was about to say I know one of them went to Sample Squall. And no, it's funny because I mean, as you know, me and my brothers, we went to Orange Glen, which is a school also in Escondido.
Yeah.
And I know for us, I don't regret it at all. Like I made a lot of lifelong friends at Orange Glen. But as far as like athletics, it was probably not the best decision to make. But after I remember after high school, because you know, like for us anyway. In high school, like Theo and Peter and all them, like we was cool with them. They was our peepers, but like we played against them.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like super cool. Like we got cool after high school and like party together and all of that. But in high school, it wasn't like cool like that. And I remember after graduating, me and Peter happened to be in a barbershop at the same time. I remember he just asked me, he was like, bro, like, why y'all didn't come to Esco? Like, what made y'all go to OG, bro? Like, why'd y'all go over there? And I know for me, like, I knew I was gonna play sports in high school, but it wasn't a thing like go to Esco to play sports. I was just like, I'm gonna just play sports. But in hindsight, it was like, nah.
For sure.
You playing sports and you live in Escondido at that time. You should have went to Escondido. And then so you play your your freshman year with your two older brothers. How did that year go?
Man, we did good. We beat Escondido in the playoffs. That was one of the things I remember, man, because me and Julius got to come back to Esco and play against my brother Gerald, and we beat him in the playoffs. And then I think we lost in the next round. So
you say you beat Sample Squall?
We beat Escondido. When I was at Sample Squall, we beat Escondido in the playoffs.
Oh, wow.
At Escondido, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was a highlight of mine because I wanted to beat them. Obviously, my brother there, but I was like, man, we gonna beat them.
I'm bugging. So it was your sophomore year when all three of you were together?
Yes.
I'm bugging.
Yes.
Okay, I'm tripping.
That
I always
was
thought
where
that was
that
your
picture,
freshman.
that picture in the paper?
I always thought that was your freshman year. I'm bugging. So that's what I meant. So that first year, you guys all playing together in high school. How did that year end?
That one was great, bro. We went all the way to the CIF championship. We lost because my brother Julius, he was our leading scorer. He was averaging 19 points a game, and I was right behind him with 18. And when he went down in a car accident like a week before CIF championship,
That's right.
that hurt us. You know, Big Bro was our rebounder. He was our scorer, everything. So we ended up losing in the championship game. But we was running everything up until that point. We would have had 3, honestly, if my brother didn't get in that accident. We would have won that one.
That's it's kind of similar to what happened to my guest last week, Yasin Graham. I don't know if you heard of Tayshawn Cherry.
Okay.
He's out of Arizona right now.
Okay.
He played at Foothills, and then I forget what happened. I know he didn't get in any trouble. He's not like a kid that gets in trouble. But something happened, and he couldn't play in the championship. And he was like the best player in town that year, just like your brother.
Yeah.
And then he ended up not playing in Foothills, ended up taking the L.
Okay. That would do it, man.
Exactly.
When you're missing somebody like that,
Exactly.
that would do it.
And then so for you, I know, and you're an author now. We're going to talk about your book and all that. And it's actually, I want to pick your brain about that because I've actually written some children's books that I've been trying to get published. So I got to talk to you about that. And so you being an author makes me like automatically think about academics. So in school, like what were your grades like?
I did cool, man. High school was just a solid, 3.0. Cal Poly, I did my thing up there too, around 3.0. So I wasn't, a straight A student, but I took it serious. My mom and my pops was serious about them grades. Like, bro, you ain't gonna come home with no D's and no F's.
Right.
So I had to hit the book. So it's kind of just been in me. I wasn't a great student, but I get my stuff done.
Right. And see, I could have been a better student. I just really, for me, if it didn't, I had to do it at school. And for we had the block schedule like at Esco. So I had plenty of time to do it. But for me, if I didn't do it at school and if it made it home, it wasn't getting done. It wasn't getting done. And then so you like I said, your sophomore year at Esco, first year playing with both your older brothers, y'all make it to the championship. So then what happened? And you've never played any other sports, right? In high school?
Nope.
Or any sport, period?
No sport. I played baseball when I was a little kid.
Okay.
But that only lasted a couple years.
Yeah. That's dope. And see, I talked to one of my guests about that, like how that's actually an anomaly because back then, I remember like a lot of people played a lot of different sports, but I mean, obviously it benefited you like only, staying focused on one sport. Yeah. And then so your sophomore year, your oldest brother's gone now.
Yep.
It's you and just one other brother now. Who else was on the team that year when it's just you and your sophomore year? Your junior year.
My junior year. Little Chris Williams.
Right.
You know Chris.
Right.
We had Isaiah Porter. George, Big George, our big man. Randy Boston. You know Bump. We called him Bump.
Yep.
That was our group right there. That was our group.
I don't know if it had to be your senior year. I remember, like I said, we played in the same schools in the same city, and I remember when you guys would come to town, our rowdy crowd was always crazy, and y'all was super crazy.
Yeah, we was.
But our rowdy crowd was always crazy too, and especially when you guys would come to town. And see, that was the dope thing, and that was what I always say about I never regret, like Orange Glen. No matter like our team, it was either like middle of the road or sometimes a little bit above average. But our rowdy crowd, you would think we won a championship every year, and especially when players like you came to town, it was like, yo. This dude might come in here and drop 40, so we need everybody to come and be screaming as loud as they could.
For sure.
And I can't remember if it was your junior year. It had to be your junior year. Yeah, because Bump is a year older than you, right?
Bump is my age, my grade. But he didn't play our senior year.
So it was your junior year because he was on the team.
Yeah.
And I remember our rowdy crowd like had instructions like, yo, as soon as Lorenzo touched the ball, just start booing. At the top of your lungs, just start booing. And I remember you grabbed the ball and like you heard the boo, you just shook your head. First play of the game, put up from the volleyball line. I remember
it's going down. It's going down. I used to feed off that.
And I remember me, my brother Jesse. I mean, everybody knew who you were, but like we knew you like more personally.
Yeah.
And I remember like me, my brother Steph, and my homie Jesse Williams. He went to school.
I remember Jesse.
He went to school with his sisters, Patrice and Brandy. And we tell him like, yo, he really liked that though. So like, don't get discouraged. Like he gonna hit one, but keep yelling, like keep booing.
Sure.
And I remember you hit that, and like you just turned and looked at the crowd, and everybody was like, these dudes wasn't lying. Like he really liked that. So how did your junior year end?
Man, I averaged my junior year. We won CIF. That's when I hit we went all the way the game winner, 0.5 seconds. I averaged 26 a game that year. Man, that was a good year. That was a good year. Definitely did my thing. We ended up beating. Who do we beat?
The Helix, right?
Helix.
Yeah.
Helix. Yeah.
And it's funny because it's funny. Oh, I meant to tell you. I just trying to like raise some awareness about the interview. I posted on my Twitter and then like screenshot and put it on my Instagram. Does the name Lorenzo Keeler ring a bell? And you remember Aaron Tinsley?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I remember Aaron.
I put, does the name Lorenzo Keeler ring a bell? And he reshared it and put, of course, the Helix boys know who he is or something like that. Like, if you're from Helix, you know who Lorenzo Keeler is.
Yeah.
I was about to say. So you guys, your junior year, championship, game winner, and then so you guys went into the state tournament. How far did you guys go in state?
I want to say, I was asking that question, bro, because my mind, I couldn't remember, but we lost to Mater Dei. We lost to Mater Dei. That's what I couldn't remember who we lost to, but we lost to Mater Dei.
And what round was that in?
That was the first round of state.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't until my senior year we won a game in state. We beat Inglewood. So we beat Hoover.
I was there. I wasn't there for that one.
Yeah, it's my senior year. We beat Hoover in CIF, beat them by like 20. And then we went to play Inglewood. And them boys came down. They had some ballers. They had two dudes going to Georgetown. And we beat them, bro. We beat them at Esco. Biggest game ever, man.
I remember, I didn't make it to that. I forget. It's probably something that had to do with church. You know, my parents always had us in church. Probably had something to do with that. But I remember my homegirl, Brianne Battle, she was at the game. And a few of my other peoples, and they was like, yo, it was crazy in there. Like, y'all shit was crazy in there. Yeah, they was like, you know, Esco was loud, but Inglewood brought they people too. And it was crazy. You should have been there. I wish I was there.
Standing room only, bro. You couldn't even sit down. Standing up. I remember I dropped 39 on him that night. I dropped 39. You remember Matt Adams?
Yep.
Baby, we called him Bibby. He had 29.
Dang.
We had 39 and 29, and we just ran him out the gym. We didn't
crazy.
lose. We weren't trailing at all. From jump ball on, bro, we just ran him out. Ran him out the gym.
Man, that was I love, and that's part of why I was talking about being a cameraman before you came in here, and that's part of why I love my job so much. Like I love working with the cameras and stuff anyway, but just like still being around that sports atmosphere and that type of energy it's nothing like it. You can't recreate it. Like you can get that excited for something, but when that's what you're excited about, you can't recreate that. It's too crazy. It's too crazy. And then so after your senior year, if I'm not mistaken, before we get to what college you were about to go to, if I'm not mistaken, when I met you in middle school at church, you always had a plan to go high school and then prep school. And I don't know if JUCO was always a part of the equation,
No.
but I know you always had a plan to go high school, prep school, and then go D1. What at a young age, like how did you come up with that plan, or who gave you that plan, or what?
Really, my pops. Well, to be honest with you, I was just trying to go to high school and straight to D1. But you know, San Diego State, that's where I had signed to. And then just after, you know, talking to pops and the family, we just felt like that wasn't the best situation to do. So prep school was the only alternative to that. So that's how prep school came about.
Why was it the only alternative?
Well, because I had already signed.
Oh, I see.
So to get out that signature, the only way to get out of that signature was not graduating.
Wow.
Yeah. So I didn't even graduate. I graduated the following year at prep school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did
So
not
I was
know
already
that.
signed, bro, ready to go. Ready to go.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember because, and it's funny logic. Well, I guess it's not funny logic. It makes sense because you were a player like that. Do you remember the name Ryan Dew?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's a ref now, right?
Yeah, yep, exactly. Yeah. He all swole now.
The shooter
Yeah,
back
he was a
in the
shooter.
day.
He was a shooter.
Yeah.
But I remember when you guys, and this is when the champ. Well, they still from time to time play championship games at San Diego State. Yeah, I seen him play the championship game there. But you had committed there, and you guys were going to play the championship game there. And I'll never forget, because we were talking about, like, I don't know, man. Helix is tough. Like, I mean, Lorenzo cold, but I don't know. Helix is tough. And I remember Ryan Dew was like, bro, Esco's going to win. Lorenzo's not going to lose a championship game in the school he's going to play in next year. And I remember thinking, like, that don't really make sense, but it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, you still got to go play the game, but when it's a dude like that and you thinking, like, man, this is my school. Like, you know what I mean?
For sure.
So I get it.
sure.
So, like
That
I
was
said,
big.
you signed to San Diego State, but ended up going to a prep school.
Yeah.
What prep school did you go to?
I went to Winchendon Prep. It was outside of Boston.
Okay.
Outside of Boston.
Okay. And then you played there for 2 years?
Played there for 1 year.
1 year.
1 year.
How was that?
It was dope. Did my thing out there. I was averaging like close to 17 a game, 16, 17 like that. Played against a lot of good hoopers, bro. Like, back east is a totally different breed of hoopers. You know, I'm coming from Cali. Going out there, it was definitely a different experience. But I got to play against some of the best guys coming out of the East Coast. So I loved it, bro. I loved it.
I skipped over one question I wanted to ask. When you were in high school, who were some of the best players in San Diego? Other than yourself, obviously.
Man, back then it was like Richie Williams, Richie and
Raymond.
Obviously, I don't know how I could forget that. Muhammad Abukar, that was another guy back in the Nate Carter, Sean Davis. These are all dudes I looked up to growing up. Rico Tucker, that was a guy who I played with a lot. I'm forgetting a lot of guys. Gino Pomar, El Camino, Justin Armstrong, El Camino, Craig Austin, Carlsbad. These are some of the best players out there at the time.
And so I was trying to think back. When who were the best players, and I was thinking, like, I remember you being good, but like, to be on, like, and then I didn't play varsity back then, so like for me it wasn't. I didn't really know of, like, and then also this is back then, and also people, you got to keep in mind this is back when there wasn't social media. Yeah. So when you heard how cold a dude was, it was like, for lack of a better term, it was like kind of just like a legend, especially for a guy like you. Or even back then, like when I was at, like, you graduated 04. I graduated 06, and some of the best players when I was in school was like J.D. Luster, Tyrone Shelley, Chase Budinger. Malcolm Thomas was good, but he wasn't like a super name like that, like kind of like Tyrone was. But it was like you couldn't like type in their name on Instagram and then go watch and see how good they are. Back then it was like, yo, he throwing passes between the legs like all game, like he dropping 30 every night. Like, I gotta see this, you know what I'm saying? So then when they finally came and like it made the attention, I don't want to say bigger, because now when you see social media, like for instance like a Mikey Williams or somebody, like you see him dunking, everybody like, yo, I'm finna go check that out. But it's different when it's a different type of energy when all you've only heard of it. You've only heard of it. Now you walking in and you seeing it for the first time, you know what I mean? And so you went to prep school in Boston. Real quick before I get to the next question, I just randomly thought of, I've always heard of Boston to be kind of like racially, a lot of racial tension there. You experienced any of that when you were there?
Yeah, man, on the outskirts. I was in like a little town called Winchendon, bro. And I'll never forget, I was at a store, and this little girl was with her mom. And she looks at me and she looked at her mom and she was like, Mom, what's wrong with his skin? Like, they didn't see black people or minorities at all where I was at. So, but keep in mind, that was outskirts of Boston. That wasn't Boston. The city's, bro, diverse. You got everything in Boston. I loved Boston, bro, to be 100. I loved it. But where I was at, yeah, it was just a basketball team, minorities, and the whole place. That was it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
it
crazy.
was kind of a shock a little bit when I first got out there.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. Pardon me. What I was going to say is I remember my junior year, my English teacher, but she was like a older white lady. I was like 16, so at the time she was probably like in her 50s or 60s, Miss Turntine. I don't know if you remember. But I remember she told a story about, and I forget where she was from. But like I said, she was like 60-something. I remember she told a story about the first time she seen a black dude. She said she was in the car with her parents, and she said she was like, "Mom, there's a chocolate man." And she like legit was like, whoa. So to hear you in Boston in 2007?
Nah, 2005.
2005? And hear that is crazy.
Yeah. And she was dead serious.
I believe it.
It was an honest question. She had no idea.
I believe
and
it.
like her mom kind of looked at me and was shook, and obviously I ain't tripping on none of that.
Right.
I just kept it pushing, but yeah, that happened.
Right.
In 2005, that happened.
That's crazy. And so when you were, and we can touch on it as lightly as you want to. So when you were in Boston, was that when you got in a little bit of trouble?
That's when I caught, my name got through in a mix, man.
Right, exactly.
Literally, it was the whole team, maybe 6, 7 of us. And we got thrown, and all our names got thrown into a little situation with a young lady at the school. Praise God, for me, I wasn't even around when it happened. My name just got thrown in there. I think it was racially thrown in there, but whatever.
That was why I kind of,
Yeah. It was like I'm throwing everybody in one group together. So obviously,
and the basketball team was all black?
Basketball team, all black.
Okay.
Yeah. So fortunately for me, man, about a month or 2 into it, the young lady admitted that I had nothing to do with it.
That's dope.
So my name was cleared and I was on my way. Unfortunately, I had a couple other players who still had to deal with it. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I was thankfully being able to move on.
And see, that's the I've never really used your story as an example, but that's a great example of your name and your character preceding you. You know what I mean? Because we heard about it. I don't know if it's because I know you personally, but we heard about it here back home before it was in the paper. Because I remember, because you my boy, I remember reading the whole article in the paper. But before it made it to the paper, a lot of us had heard about it. And I remember thinking, I know, when people get in college, they get crazy, but that don't sound like Lorenzo, bro.
Nah, bro.
You know, and then even the word around was like that. Come on, bro. That come on.
Yeah.
He'd never do nothing like that. You know what I mean? So but to what I was saying, had you been a scumbag or somebody that people might have seen you in some type of a fishy type of thing, they'd be like, well, I don't know. That one time at the party, I seen blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So that's just, for anybody, I got a lot of young kids that watch, a lot of high school players that watch. That's a perfect example of living and doing things in the right way. So if your name is ever thrown in something crazy,
that's real.
Your name and the example you set comes before you.
For sure.
And so you played 1 year in Boston, prep school. And then, so did you get recruited?
Yes.
Out of there?
So I was gonna go to San Jose State. A lot of people don't know that.
I actually did know that.
Did you know that? Okay. They recruited me tough, bro. And being back east, I was like, man, I got to get back to Cali for college. I'm not staying out here, bro. I'm going back home. And then they reached out to me and was on me tough. So I took a visit. Me and my pops loved it. Made a commitment, and then the whole Boston case came out. And it hit them. And their athletic director was like, I ain't taking no chances. You know what I mean? So they kind of pulled my scholarship immediately. And I'm like, look, if y'all just wait on, you're going to realize I had nothing to do with it. It's going to come out. But, they had to do what they had to do.
Right.
So that made me have to do another year of prep school. So I did my second year in Connecticut at South Kent.
Okay, I was about to say, I could have swore you did 2 years of prep
Kent,
school. Okay,
yeah.
I thought, okay.
Because of that, or else I would have been in San Jose State, bro.
Right.
But South Kent was dope. Loved it. Another great experience.
You said that was where?
South Kent in Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
How was that living in Connecticut?
It was better. It was better. But just the team, the coach, man, it was just a whole nother level of basketball. That I was like, man, I played with some of the best guys back east at South Kent. Yeah. So.
And then what were you say you averaged 17 at the first year of prep school?
Yeah, my first year I was around 17.
Second
at
year?
South Kent, probably around 15. Keep in mind, there's a ton of killers. In high school, I get all the shots I want.
Right.
Out there, you got several guys who can go. So, which was fine. I didn't really trip, but I had a good year. Had a good time. Yep.
And then so, like I said, I saw something about San Jose. Like I said, I know a lot about you, but just making sure I knew even more about you to get ready for the interview. I was just Googling stuff and reading different things. But yeah, so you get recruited out of Connecticut to go to Cal Poly?
To go to Riverside.
Okay.
My homeboy, Mark Hall, rest in peace. I don't even remember Mark Hall. Went at Granite Hills, 6'8".
I remember the name anyway.
Mark Hall, yeah. He called me, man. He was like, Zoe, you commit yet? And he was in JUCO in Kansas. And I'm like, nah, bro, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do. He's like, bro, let's go to Riverside. Let's go to Riverside. Keep in mind, that's back home. That's right around the corner.
Right.
So I'm like, what, you going? He's like, bro, let's go together. bet. He called the coach. The coach called me, and that was it. They were like, yo, we want you, offer you a scholarship. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
So ended up going back to Riverside, going back home, going to Riverside. Me and Mark lived together. We had a little apartment and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then my grades from prep school didn't transfer over to Riverside. So that's why I had to do JUCO. Yeah. There was an academic issue that the prep school I was at, they did something academically where it wasn't going to transfer.
Got you.
So I'm like, man, there's another thing. I can't even go.
Right.
Man.
Right.
And then so I ended up doing 1 year of JUCO.
And see, I thought, and for me, of course, because you don't ask these questions and you don't know, obviously, and that's why I was so excited to talk to you to find out this type of information. I'm just thinking you playing ball and you just rolling with the punches and just like, and you just altering your plan because you just feel like altering your plan. I would have never known that all of these different roadblocks keep popping up.
Absolutely,
But I do remember because by the time you started playing JUCO, so what year was it? So I can make sure
2007?
Yeah, and I was about to say because I was in junior college at the time.
Okay.
I graduated 2006.
Okay.
And then I was at Palomar.
Okay.
And I remember I forget what school did you go to?
Mount San Jacinto.
Right. And I remember hearing that you went there, and then my homie Lil EJ that was playing for I was playing for Palomar at the time.
I remember him.
He was like, bro, you got to make sure you come and check us out. So I remember I went on the website and pulled up the schedule and seen that you was gonna be coming.
Yeah.
Oh no! And matter of fact, before I get to that, when I heard that you were gonna be playing JUCO, I was like, oh, that ain't even right. Like my boy could have went to San Diego State out of high school. Like he coming to JUCO, he finna come and dog. And I remember, but I also remember thinking, don't with all due respect, you always been a dog, you always been a killer. But at the time, Palomar had this. There was a big EJ and a little EJ. And big EJ was he was like swole, super swole, fast. He could shoot it. And
guard,
I was like, right.
The guard, yeah.
Right.
I know who that
and
is.
I remember thinking like that's gonna be a nice little matchup. And you came in there and gave it to him too. And I remember talking to you after the game, and you was like, yeah, bro, everybody been telling me like he could really get it, but he gonna have to show me. And you was like, I mean, he did his thing, but we had to get that win.
Yeah. I had 36.
Right.
That's what you remember. I had 36.
I remember. I was just about to say you put like 30 something on him. Almost at 40 on him. I remember.
I went in. I remember.
I remember. So you played there. You did 1 year of JUCO, and then you went D1.
Then I went to Cal Poly.
Right. So how was the recruitment process going to Cal Poly?
They came and see to open gym.
Okay.
The Cal Poly assistant coach came to an open gym at Mount San Jacinto. Like, we want you. I think a week later, I took a visit. Me and my dad and my mom, bro, we fell in love with it. That area of Central Coast is beautiful, bro. It don't get no better than that in Cali. That area up there, I went on my visit. I said, I'm here. I told the coach that day, I'm coming. That's it. It's done. So it was real simple, but I didn't really entertain too many schools. I think Santa Barbara was on me, Illinois State, several schools, but Cal Poly was, when I took that visit, that's it. I didn't need to go nowhere else.
I feel it.
So.
I feel it. And you played there
3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
3 years. What were your numbers like first year?
My first year, I did average double figures my whole time there. My first year, I was at around 11 a game. Second year, I was around 14, 15. And my senior year, I was at 18.
Okay.
So my junior year, I was honorable mention All Big West. My senior year, I was first team All Big West. So,
that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. And then I remember, and this is back like now, like right after the game, like the footage is on YouTube and it's on Instagram. But back then, it would take a little. It would take a little while. So if you played on a Saturday, it might not be on YouTube until like Sunday evening or maybe even Monday morning. But I would always like make sure I would watch, and especially like the mixes that they would put together. I was like, this dude game don't change. This just buckets everywhere.
Buckets,
like,
baby. You know.
And actually, do you remember John Cotty? Do you remember that name? He went to Orange Glen. I don't know. He was our best player for a little bit.
Okay, maybe. Don't ring bells.
Yeah, but anyway, he was our best player. He averaged like 20 something, and he could play. Like he wasn't like a super fast or like nothing like that, but he could play. He could defend. I remember after he played you, he was like, bro, he's so fast. White dude. He's like, bro, he's so fast. Like he's so fast, man. Like it's just not the same. Like you guard the fast players, but it's just not the same. And then so you played at Cal Poly. You finished up, got your degree.
Got my degree.
Got your degree, and then was it you went pro immediately? Did you take some time off?
Immediately.
Okay.
Immediately. I went to pro that following. So I finished up that spring. I went to Cancun that September.
Okay.
I was on my way.
That's dope.
So
you've all. I mean, it makes sense. You've always been a super hard worker. And before we get to your pro career, I remember, and maybe it was while you were playing pro too, but I remember so many stories about like different, like Joe Hudson, different players at Esco. My boy Dor Tud, who's actually my son's godfather. Yeah. That Eric Lorenzo, LaShawn.
Yeah.
Like everybody has all these stories about
guys.
like, he bigs you up big time. everybody has these like these like super like legendary stories about working out with you. Dora's like, man, he took me over to Dixon Lake. We was running up the hill over there, and then LaShawn told me something about y'all play like 1-on-1 to like 50 full court or something like that. I'm like, this and it's funny because when my brother started playing college football, I started working out with him. And then when he left, I was so used to working out like that, so I just started working out with LaShawn because we was both always at the YMCA.
Okay.
And then he had me in there doing all that crazy, all over the court stuff. I'm like, bro, I don't know if I'm built for all of this. But he was like, bro, this is what Lorenzo be doing. I was like, oh, it must be benefiting because he a bucket everywhere.
Shout out to Marty, bro. Marty Smith, man, was Marty and Peter. I used to train with them, but Marty really gave me a lot of game. A lot of people don't know, man. Going into my senior year, I worked out with Marty pretty much that whole summer. And,
senior year of college?
Senior year of college. And I got first team All Big West. I killed that year. And a lot of it was Marty, man. I got to shout out to Marty Smith because he put us through. He was taking me and Peter to the beach, tying weights on us. We running in the sand. I mean, all kind of different things that Marty had us doing, man, that got me right. So big shout out to Marty because a lot of stuff I did with LaShawn and Dora and all them, I got from Marty.
That's dope.
So
that's dope. That's dope that you passed that along.
Yeah.
That's dope. And shout out to Peter and Marty. Good dudes, man.
Absolutely.
Good dudes. I know Marty's like I think he work at Duke.
At Duke.
Work at Duke now. He teaching at Duke. Peter, Peter's like, they both super smart. They both got like multiple degrees and all of that.
Absolutely.
And that was another thing that I actually was going to bring up when we were talking about, when I asked you about your grades. Like, Peter's another dude that I super respect, man, because he was one of the best players in the city and while maintaining a 4.3 GPA. I remember watching them in the championship, and he's at the free throw line shooting his free throws, and they put like his GPA across the screen. And I already knew it, but it's like the fact that they broadcasted it, I was like, that's dope. And I remember being at the Y with him, and he'd be in there working out, him and Marty, and then he'd come in the gym and hoop. And then, like, it'll be the middle of a game. Like, we going to 11. It'd be 5-6. And Marty, Peter look at the clock, be like, bro, I got homework. I got to go.
Absolutely.
So he was always like that.
For sure.
And for people who don't know, Marty Smith that he was talking about, he actually used to coach at Lincoln. He coached at Lincoln when Norman Powell was there. I don't know if I think he was an assistant. I don't know if he was a JV coach or assistant on varsity, but he was coaching there at Lincoln when Norman Powell was there. Yeah. And then, so your first year, you played at Cal Poly. What was where did you play your first year pro?
Cancun. That did it for me, man. I was getting looks I signed with an agent in Italy, and he was shooting me different looks in Germany, Switzerland, all over Europe. But then I had another agent reach out to me about Cancun and keep, I'm half Mexican, my mother's Mexican, so I'm like, I want to go represent my country, represent my people, and then what better place than Cancun, bro?
Right.
It was like a paid vacation,
right?
Real talk. So I did my first year at Cancun.
Before we keep talking about like on the court stuff, what is I guess you can't talk about in general, but what was like your process like getting an agent and all of that?
You know what? It was really easy for me, bro, because they reached out to me.
Okay.
I didn't have to do no research. I didn't, I had a pretty good year in college that they were just hollering at me. I was getting letters and letters, like you would for being recruited, but I was getting letters and letters from agents. So it was all about just picking one. And luckily for me, my coach, his brother was an agent.
Okay.
So it was like a perfect little situation.
And is it in that whole process? I would assume it's easier, like scams and things don't happen when you have an agent. But is that something that you have to keep in mind when choosing your agent as well? Because I know I've had friends, and obviously I would never say their names on camera or on the microphone, but I've had friends that it's like, hey, yo, I'm finna go to China, I'm finna go here, and then they don't leave, and you're like, hey, bro, what happened? Like, he's like, I got scammed, bro. And I'm like, what you mean you got scammed? And you could tell, like, they don't want to get into it, and it's understandable, but, like, they say that, and for me, that's always been the end of the conversation, so I never really knew, like what that meant. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, I would imagine, like, again, for predators like you, when they just come hollering, it's like, yo, like, he got talent. If I be his agent, he gonna make me some money, I'm gonna make some money, he gonna make good money, and all of that. That's how it works, for sure. You just always got to be careful, though, bro, because there's wolves and everything. You know what I mean? Anytime there's business, anytime money's involved, you got to be careful who you're dealing with. You know, I was fortunate enough to have my coach, his own blood brother, was an agent, so I didn't have to, worry too much because this is like my coach and that's like family. So, but I have heard, bro, people get into situations with agents, bro, where they'll promise you something and then they get that money and they own and then they never reach out to you again. So, yeah. You just gotta be smart when you pick them, and hopefully somebody that knows that agent, and then you can kind of get a better idea from there. Right.
Yeah. But there's a lot of scamming going on. Real talk.
I believe it. Yeah. I've heard it quite a few times. Yeah. Quite a few times. What were your numbers like first year in Cancun?
Man, being a rookie, bro, they was on that rookie tip. You a rookie, you gotta wait. So, man, definitely I was probably around 5-6 a game. You know what I'm saying? I ended up leaving early from Cancun that year. It was a different situation. But, yeah, man, in the pro level, I realized it don't matter how nice you is. It don't matter what you've done in college. A lot of these coaches going to make you wait your turn. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that I never really understood because I'm like, yo, let your best players rock.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
But at the next level, it was like, you're a rookie, you got to wait. So that was a tough pill to swallow for me, man, because I'm ready to get it in.
I bet.
I'm at practice giving it to these dudes. Like, coach, you see what I'm doing, but it don't matter. You got to wait your turn.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's tough.
It's a tough one, bro. That was a big one for me.
Especially for somebody like you. I mean, it's more common now, but like for somebody like you who, and I've spoken about this before, back in the day, jumping right in as a freshman playing varsity was a big deal. Yeah. Like a really big deal. It's not too much of a big deal now, but it was a big deal back then. So for somebody like you who came in as a freshman, starting varsity, getting numbers, always been a gunner, and then having to like, what? Like, I've been a bucket all my life. What you mean I got to sit right here? You know what I'm saying?
And the dude you sitting behind is 34 years old that can't even touch you.
Right.
Can't even come near you.
Right.
But he waited. He paid his dues. So that was something that I had to learn.
I feel it.
Patience, bro, because it was tough.
I feel it.
It was a tough thing.
I feel it. I could only imagine. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like a parallel in my life where I've always been like that dude, and then
when you get older, you got it. But it's something, bro, that I taught the young. Me playing 6-7 years, I was able to teach the young ones coming up that because I had some young ones that they was killers, and I tell them, bro, I was in your position, and be patient. Be patient. Don't let you being not patient ruin your money. Because a lot of times cats being patient get mad, they gone, they lose out on their money. So I was telling the young ones, man, be patient. Your time will come. Get your money.
Right.
Get your money.
Right.
Yeah, you a killer. Yeah, the coach is seeing you a killer. Keep your mind on your money, and then in due time, you're going to be able to do what you do. So I was able to actually help a couple of young cats who, they was ready to go.
That's dope.
Like, nah, OG, I'm out of here, man. He tripping. Nah, I'm like, nah, be patient.
These are teammates of yours?
Teammates.
Okay.
Yeah, the young ones, as they started to come out of college, and as I did a few years,
I
was able to get that game down to them. Because I was the young one, frustrated too,
So because of that situation, was that why you only played 1 year in Cancun?
Played 1 year in Cancun, man, and I was just like, it's time for me to go. My agent was like, I'm gonna get you to France. Came home, and then ended up going back to Mexico. Okay. Yeah, Europe was cool, but I didn't want to be so far away from my family, man. That 10-hour, 12-hour time difference, it sounded good, but I'm like, man, I'm a mama's boy. Anybody who know me and my mama like this. Same. Me and my bros, not my family, but I'm close with my moms, man. So I'm like, Mexico, France. I'm going back to Mexico. 2-hour difference. You know what I mean? So,
I feel it. Your mom's a sweetheart, too.
Yeah, I can't go with mom. She can come to Mexico and watch me play, but it's going to be hard for her to come to France.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. I feel that.
Shout out to my mom. I love you, Mom.
Just 1 year in France?
I never went to France.
Oh, never went to France.
Yeah, I was going to go to France.
Got you.
But then I decided to go back to Mexico.
Okay.
Just to stay closer to my mom.
And how and you're all done playing now, or are you still?
Man, I'm done. I'm done, but sometimes I don't want to be done. You know what I mean? Like I got a call last month from an agent wanting me to come back and play. But my boys, man, they like, Dad, no. They 7 and 6 now. They ain't doing Skype. Skype ain't working for them no more, man.
I feel it.
They like, Dad, you ain't going. I ask them, hey, what y'all think? Nope. Nope. They real quick. Nope. So I shut it down.
I was about to say, man, it's all these teams popping up in the ABA. You might have to come over here and play one of those. Yeah, we got to talking about everything. We only got so much time left. We got 1 minute left. We got to talk about all your merch and all your goodies that came in, man.
This is for me? This is for you, man.
Okay.
This is about you and your bro, man. I got y'all a hat, a couple hats.
Talk about it real quick. What's the name of it?
Signet Royalty.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my nonprofit, man. It's just a nonprofit organization where it's a platform, a sports platform. We want to give youth an opportunity to be able to showcase their gifts without a heavy financial burden. You know what I mean? So, and I think what separates my organization from a lot of them is it's not just sports, but it's mentorship, man. We want to give these kids, these young men and young women, life skills, principles that's going to help them in life. You know what I mean? So I'm big on that. Let's educate the youth, give them some good principles, man, that will take them further than just sports. They can help them in their life.
That's dope, man.
That's what we're trying to do.
Man, like I said, I was learning so much about you. I didn't really get the time to promote all this, but like I said, my man is an author too. He's got a book, Fruit from My Seed, man. Fruit from My Seed. I'm glad you brought me one. I'm definitely gonna start reading this tonight. My man Lorenzo, like I said, I've been looking forward to this interview for a long time.
Love, bro.
I appreciate you coming through, man.
Appreciate you having me, man.
I appreciate everybody who tuned in online, man. And like I said, it'll be available tomorrow on YouTube as well. On the Michael Flix. I appreciate y'all.